class is not about what you wear, how much money you have, or the fancy places you go to. Real class is about how you carry yourself. And let's be real, the line between being classy and being pretentious can be blurry. So today I was like, you know what, let's touch on how to exude true class without coming off as snobby or coming too hard. So let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. There are lots of videos and contents for you to indulge in, binge watch, get to know my contents, and while you're at it, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I make a post. I will normally post once every week, every Fridays 4 p.m. European Standard Time, and every week I get to share the topic of the week. Of course, today we're talking about class, but I also get to share what I've been watching with you guys, what I've been listening with you guys, quote of the week, and also I get to share some of my playlists with you guys. So just stay tuned, and while you're at it, please just give this video a thumbs up, like it if you haven't, and let's dive right into today's video. Like I was saying, today we're talking about class. Class is about grace and not superiority. You don't go about thinking you're better than any other person. Let's say you're in a certain room or a certain gathering and you enter. You don't go about thinking that you're better than everyone else or you're deserving of certain things than everyone else just because you are you. You know, classy people don't go about making people feel inferior. They make people feel comfortable. Real class is about respect and not arrogance. So it's about showing kindness, whether it be a CEO or a waiter. Real class is about respect, not arrogance. Let's take Audrey Hepburn in The Little Black Dress, for example. She was elegant, she was poised, and she was beloved because she was graceful and not because she flaunted wealth or status. And by the way, guys, I do have a video on The Little Black Dress. I'm going to leave the video on the screen for you guys, and towards the end of the video, give it a watch if you haven't. And then moving on, class is about confidence and not arrogance. As I said earlier on, real class is about respect, not arrogance. So class is about confidence and not arrogance. And classy people have quiet confidence. They do not need to prove themselves to anyone. When people are so unnecessarily dramatic, loud, and all of that, I feel it's lacking in confidence, because true classy and confident people do not feel the need or, you know, carve into the attention or the pressure to prove themselves to anyone, regardless of what the situation may be. And that is saying that when you enter a space, for example, confidence is being secure in yourself that, you know, you're great in your own way, but also acknowledging the fact, understanding the fact that the next man or the other person is also great in their own way. Someone doesn't need to be bad for you to be good. Someone doesn't need to be ugly for you to be beautiful, you know. Real classy people or classy people have quiet confidence. They make people feel comfortable, not inferior. And how can you practice confidence? Number one, speak with certainty, but listen twice as much as you speak. Just speak with certainty and pay more attention. Listen twice as much as you speak. The next would be for you to avoid name dropping or bragging, guys. The first meeting you're meeting with someone, or the few minutes after meeting someone, they should not know the kind of cars you drive, the vacations you take, the area you live. You know, there are certain information that is just so unnecessary. It is okay for you to be proud of yourself, but you should always remember that it is not a competition. You know, it's never that serious. And then the next tip for you to practice more confidence over arrogance would be to carry yourself with a good posture, but don't make it look like you're trying too hard. There shouldn't be an instance where someone tells you there's a particular or specific way in which to sit, for example, or to stand to maintain a certain posture. So, you know, sometimes when we listen to so much of what people are saying, when we get to be in certain situations, we are trying so hard to remember what that person said. Oh, she said, if I sit down this way, or he said, if I carry myself in this way, without even being present, you know. So we waste so much energy on trying to fit into what society is telling us or what a certain person is telling us, that we end up not being ourselves because we're not even comfortable. The goal is for you to be comfortable. There's not a certain way. Let's say when you sit down you have to cross your leg. No, that is not the generalization in having a good posture. Just maintain a good posture, something that works for you, something where you're comfortable in. Now, Class is about elevating your style without doing too much, and this brings us to the aspect of wearing designers. And most times when you tell people that, you know, looking classy or looking presentable doesn't mean, or doesn't necessarily mean you have to wear designers, people think maybe we are promoting poverty in a way, you know, or humility, but that's very far from that. When someone say you can look classy without rocking designer, this is so true. And this goes without saying that if you can afford the designers, guys, please go ahead and deck yourself in the finest things that works for you. But the most important thing is to not overdo it, you know. So you shouldn't be wearing a Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, Prada, LV, so many things, and the brands are just looking at us, you know. It's like, we get it, you're rich, but I feel you can look more presentable. It's all about looking put together. Clean, well-fitted outfits, simple accessories, you know. That is why it's so important for you to know that even with your low budget, you can still look classy, just as someone in a Prada would. It's all about wearing what works for you, what fits you, what fits your body type, you know. So it is really important that you can elevate your style without doing too much. When they say elevate your style, the next thing shouldn't come expensive, luxury, designers, you know. You can do all of that without having the designers, but at the same time, if you have the designers, guys, go ahead to deck yourself, as I said. But let me share some tips that you can use to elevate your style without doing too much. The first would be to invest in timeless outfits other than trendy outfits. When you open your wardrobe, for example, we should not be saying just clothes that are trending, you know. In that way, you will not be able to get to wear some of these clothes after a while because you're not comfortable. Everyone knows that it trended for just this style. So it is really important to buy what works for you. Don't jump on every trend. Your shopping should not be by what is trending. There was this video I came across on TikTok where there was this particular brand trip, and all the influencers there look alike, you know, the same beige, nude, white color, just down to what they were wearing, up to down, coats, pants, you know, top, everything was just similar, alike, not even similar, like alike, and it's like they all had the same mood board before coming. So yeah, it is really important to invest in timeless pieces other than trendy stuff. The next would be for you to invest in well-tailored clothes. That's you getting clothes that works for you, works for your body type. Understand what you look good in. Those people or that person you always think, oh, they can never go wrong when it comes to dressing, they are no different from you. It's just that you've not been able to find what works for you, but I promise you, you will look just as good, if not even better than all those people you think they can never do wrong. I just feel you've not just gotten what works for you. So just go out there, figure out what works for you, figure out your style, figure out what enhances your body shape, you know, your body type, whatever it is, what makes you feel good and confident, go for it. The next would be quality over quantity. Sometimes less is more. Let's say, for example, you have $200 and this is shop A, this is shop B, and in shop A with that $200 you can get 5 outfits, but in shop B you can get 10 outfits, but these 5 outfits are of good quality, 10 outfits are of cheap quality. It is better to go for the 5 outfits than the 10, because in the long run you get to enjoy those ones. And this is also a note to encourage you guys to not let anyone deceive you into thinking, oh, you can't repeat outfits, or repeating outfits is such a taboo. Guys, it is only celebrities and socialites, you know, rich people that can live that lifestyle. If you're not one of these, please feel free to rock your outfit. Do not go investing in clothes and, you know, going with the mindset of you're just wearing it once and that is it. That is a very, very risky, bad financial decision. You know, if you're not from a wealthy background, you're not wealthy yourself, you're not an influencer, you're not a socialite, you're not a celebrity, do not go around thinking or shopping with the mindset that you wear something once and that is it. But yeah, quality over quantity. Let's say, for example, now, have you ever seen those particular person or those people that whatever they wear, they just seem to look good, you know, they just, even if it's the simplest outfits, they always end up looking elegant? It's because those people focus on the fit, the fabric, and how they carry themselves. So all of this matters. It doesn't mean the moment you start decking yourself in the finest designers, that just makes you classy automatically. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Another point would be, class is about speaking with elegance and positivity. words can be just as important as appearance. A classy person speaks with warmth. A classy person avoids gossip. A classy person doesn't need to shout for them to be heard. That's also something that I feel like a number of people are missing. You don't need to scream or shout for you to be heard. You speak with warmth and you will be able to be heard, or you'll be able to get people's attention. And some tips in doing that is be articulate or natural. Don't go about forcing big words just to sound intelligent. That is a turn off for some people. In case you're not aware, do not go about just forcing big words to sound intelligent. Just be articulate and natural, because at the end of the day, the most important thing, or the most important part in communication, effective communication, is for your receiver on the other end to be able to understand and comprehend, especially understanding what you're saying. So please do not go for saying big words. Also, another tip that will help you is to compliment others genuinely. Guys, it takes nothing, or I may be speaking for myself, it takes nothing to compliment people genuinely. Learn to compliment people genuinely. And if you don't have any genuine compliment, it is also okay to not say anything. Another tip would be avoid complaining too much. Do not complain too much. Someone who complains too much, that is very, very far from classy. Imagine you're with someone that is always speaking negative things. Everything is so negative. It's so draining, you know. Energy is contagious. So if you say you're a classy person, it is good and important to make your energy uplifting. Classy people do not go about making negative remarks, or, you know, just bringing out the energy of people around them. Like I said, it's about grace, it's about confidence and elevating your style as well. And then this time around, it's how you speak with elegance and positivity. Moving on now, class is also about mastering social grace. Classy people know how to make people feel seen and valued. And I know you will ask me, how do you make someone feel seen and valued? The first tip would be knowing when to put your phone away. There is nothing that screams being classy than being fully present. Show gratitude. Thank you and please goes a very long way. Please learn to incorporate this in your vocabulary. Another tip would be for you to be punctual. It shows that you respect people's time. So guys, it is really, really important to pay attention to all these things, because these days, especially in this day and age, it just feels like the moment you're able to show that you have money, you know, you're able to wear the designers, you're able to make your hair, groom yourself well, people just term you as being classy. But being classy is very far from being pretentious, you know, being who we are not. The most important tip about being classy is authenticity. This is the truest form of being classy, the true secret to being classy. Classy people are authentic people. Classy people are people that do not pretend. They do not fake accents. They do not like things just to fit in, and they do not go feeling, you know, acting like they are better than every other person. Anyone who tends to act like they are just so good for everything, or they are better than everyone, that is very far from classy. That is the opposite. That is just they trying too hard. You know, there is no one that is too good for anything or too good for certain people, you know. So yeah, being authentic, I feel like, is the number one ingredient for being a classy person. Being able to be comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, I would say true class is you being comfortable in your own skin. Just as I said, that quiet confidence, being confident in yourself, not being threatened by anyone. You know, someone doesn't have to be ugly for you to feel beautiful. Someone doesn't have to be a bad person for you to be a good person. You know, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to shout for you to feel seen. You also need to reciprocate that energy to people. Make your energy uplifting, because energy is contagious, you know. So yeah, for today, I would say these are just few points of mine that I would say will help you be a classy person instead of pretending to be classy. And just as I said earlier on, the finest things in life doesn't make you a classy person. How you carry yourself is the most important of everything. But anyways, guys, let's move into what I've been watching this week. What have I been watching this week? So what I've been watching this week would be my regular shows. Once more, if you're also new on this channel, there are certain TV shows I get to talk about because they release the episodes weekly, so I get to talk about them weekly. And for this week, I've been catching up with The Haunting Party. One reason I love this series is because as much as the storyline revolves around inmates doing the most insane things, I appreciate the fact that it is not gruesome. You know, they do so many crazy things. They kill people in nasty, dehumanizing, you know, just ways that you can never imagine. But one thing I really love about this series is the fact that the scenes are never gruesome. They just give you a pretty much a good idea of what the scene is about, what the perpetrator is about to do. You know, they give you a good picture and show you after the act has been committed or after the murder has been committed, but you don't get to see the gruesome scene. So that's something I like about it. Check it out if you haven't. The next on my list would be Daredevil Born Again. This is also something I've been catching with weekly. A new series or new episode is out. This is also an interesting TV show, guys. I don't want to always talk about the stories every time, and I appreciate you guys that are new here, but just give it a listen, or if you get to watch some of my videos, you will get to hear what it's all about. And then the next as well will be House of David. I've also been catching up on that story, but for this House of David, guys, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm finding it difficult to, you know, enjoy and follow this story, because as I said, it was inspired by the story from King David in the Bible. David killed Goliath. So the story that we are aware of, if you're a Christian or you've read that part, that story in the Bible, the story you know and the story they're interpreting is like very, very different at some parts. In fact, currently it shows that David as a shepherd, as a young boy, has already met with Saul as a king, and that was not what happened. So it's like, I understand that there are some things that you will have to change for drama or storytelling purposes, but I just feel like it's like we're getting off track. Like, you and I know that did not happen. Like, I don't know, it's just so confusing for me that I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. But anyways, I've been also watching that one. And then the next on my list would be Cleaner. This is a new movie, 2025, but for some weird reason I see that it keeps getting low rating, and for the love of me, I cannot comprehend why, because that is one interesting movie that I've watched in 2025, and is really, really thrilling. It has to do with like not a heist, but like a hostage situation from environmentalists, people that are fighting for the environment, you know. Though I would say the movie started out very slow, you know. When you start, it's like, okay, can we get to the point, what's going on? But the moment they start, it's like the action is back to back, guys. They don't even give you a time to chill or to breathe or to catch yourself. It's just back to back, back to back. And the lead actor, one of the lead actors, is called Noah. That is a psychopath, you know. It's a different level to psychopathy, you know. It's just it starts slow, but then when you enter, the moment you start, it almost feels like you're watching a series and not a movie, you know. So it is really interesting. Give it a watch. I don't know why it's getting low rating, or maybe just maybe people are not patient, you know, when they start, because as I said, it's slow. When you start, it's slow and they get to rate it bad, but it is a really, really interesting movie. Just give it a watch and you will understand what I'm talking about. And guys, if you watched any of this movie or TV shows I'm talking about, please feel free to let us know in the comment section. What was like your favorite part in the movie or series, your favorite character, what you feel about it. Just let us know, and also let us know if, of course, it's a good recommendation for others to watch. But yeah, the next I've been watching is called Red Tent, and this is also a story from the Bible. I would say it revolves around the story of Joseph's sister, the house of Jacob. Joseph, who was sold by his brothers and became someone influential in Egypt. His sister, his biological sister, called Dinah. Guys, I need you guys to give this. It's a 2-part series, just 2 episodes, but my God, I have never ever seen or heard a family that's such tragedy. You know, just so much tragedy that is like, only one person, to what end? What was the purpose? What was the end goal to all this, you know, suffering? It's just so, when you watch it, you now understand that, okay, this was Jacob who betrayed Esau. And it's like, was there a curse on Jacob, the house of Jacob? Like, Joseph, as we all know, was sold into slavery. His sister's life, guys, let me just give you guys a quick backstory. She was Jacob's only daughter. She escorted her stepmom, because Jacob had many wives. She escorted her stepmom, who was summoned to the palace by the king to help deliver the queen's baby. So she needed an apprentice, and she went with her stepdaughter, which was Dinah, Jacob's daughter. On getting there, she had come in contact with the prince one time or so, and it so happened that both of them are in love with each other. So they got to a point of talking about marriage and all of that. So the man even told her, the prince told her, that they should go talk to her dad, and she said they don't need to talk to her dad because at the end of the day, who she wants to get married is up to her. So they got married, and of course the king went to visit Jacob and his family to discuss bride price and the rest. But of course you would expect Jacob to be angry that he wasn't informed, and the king even told him that the marriage has been consummated, so it is, they are living together, there's nothing anyone could do. And the brothers, were just going up and down, getting angry and the rest. And I was expecting that at least at some point she'll be able to come and assure her people that yes, this is her decision. It's anything could happen. There's no responsible parents that you just come and say I'm married and they just take it. How do we know that you're not kidnapped? How do you know that you're being held against your will? How do we know that 100% this is your decision? So she never showed face, and then they came that let them have an understanding for them to be able to do things the proper way. So Jacob and his sons demanded that the prince be circumcised. The daughter Dinah was unhappy with it, but he said if that's what will bring peace, he will do it out of the love for her. So a night before the circumcision was to happen, her brothers went to the village and slaughtered every male in that community. It's a very small community. They murdered the king, murdered the prince with her while in bed, murdered every male in that community, and then wrapped her and shipped her back to Jacob. She got there, she was so angry, hot, and her father wasn't really doing anything. He wasn't even cautioning the guys, he wasn't even saying anything. He was just there, and she was like, how can you be there and not say anything and see how much pain these people have caused me? He didn't really say anything. He was just like, but he didn't tell them to do it, and he's like, are you for real? So she left them. Upon leaving them, the queen survived. She was the only surviving person in the palace. She survived, and she picked her, and she was taking her somewhere, and she was just telling the queen to leave her. She wants to die. The queen was like, she can't leave her because she's carrying a child. They went to Egypt. The queen was from a royal home, so she went to Egypt, and she was still in the royal home. He got for time for the dinner to put to bed. She gave birth. Come to find out, the queen was only keeping her for the child, and he told her that she will not have access to the child only when it's time to breastfeed. In the middle of the night, she tried to escape with the child, but because she was bleeding, they were able to capture her. They brought her back to the palace, but this time around, she came back as a slave and was only taking care of the child, or only seeing the child when it was time for her to take care of him. That was it. She wasn't allowed to tell him anything about her. After a while, they took him to go study somewhere with advisors to go study. Obviously, kings or royal born get to go study somewhere, especially if they're next in line. And they sent him away for 7 good years, guys. 7 years. She was always going back to the palace to check if he was back, because the moment he left, the queen relieved her of her duties. She got to a new area. They were seeing her as a witch. It's a lot. And eventually the son grew up, the grandma died, the son eventually knew the story. He hated the mom, he didn't want anything to do with her. She had to go start her life. When she finally got back, he was now working under Joseph had become an influential person in Egypt already. He was working under him. He overheard the story where she was talking to Joseph about they being brothers and the rest, and she had told her son that her brothers were the one who killed his dad. So obviously he tried to kill Joseph, and as I said, he's an influential person if you know the story. So it was something that he could not let go because it's like treason. So for that sake, he was like banished in a way out of the community. So it's like the tragedy is just so much, guys. I know I'm just yapping but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. But the tragedy is just on another level, that the house of Jacob is like, was it a cursed house? Or I don't understand what the end goal is, what is the achievement. The tragedy is just on another level, and we have Joseph's story on the other side. So it's like, from one family, it's a lot. And this is me, I'm not even giving you guys the full story. I'm saying this is just 2 episodes. So it's just crazy the kind of lives some people have lived. Well, let's move into what I've been listening to this week. For this week, guys, as I said earlier on, if you're new to my channel, I have a playlist where I get to share with you guys. One is titled Victoria's Playlist, where I add just African jams. Now this is not Afrobeat, because these are songs from different parts in Africa. So they are just African songs from Tanzania, Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria. And for the longest time, I keep saying I've been wanting to get into South African jams, and finally I've been able to come to like some, and I added as much as I could. And also I have another playlist titled V's Blues. This is for the international songs. Any song that is not African is there. You can give it a listen. And also from that side, I've been listening to Rihanna, Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, Banga's album. Those are like my favorite to listen to, especially when I'm bored and I have nothing to do. These are just things that keep me company. And last week I was able to listen to songs for 10 hours plus. You know, it was just such a refreshing time that once I was done, I was just like, what a time to be alive. And of course I listen to them on Victoria's playlist. So these are playlists I also get to listen by myself. I'll say these are my own playlists I just want to get to share with you guys. Perhaps you have the same taste in music, or you might come to like mine, who knows. Just give them a listen, you will not regret it. Also, I'm also working on a gospel playlist as well. I'm going to make that public very soon. So in case you're from the Christian community and you're like, you know what, the Victoria's playlist and V's Blues are not for me, don't worry, I got you covered. It's going to be public very soon. But yeah guys, let's move into our code for this week. What's our code for this week? So guys, our code for this week would be: there are many battles you must fight to get to the top. You might not win all of them. Do not get discouraged. Success means winning the war, not every battle. Some battles will be lost, others will be won. Some battles will be painful, others will be painless. Remember, you win some and you lose some. The loss of a few battles is not the loss of the war. You will still have the chance to win if only you give it another try. Defeat is not the worst of failures. Not to have tried is one true failure. And this is by George A. Woodbury. And I just want to leave you guys with that encouraging words once more. But guys, speaking about class is not about perfection. Class is about presence. Class is about kindness. Class is about confidence. So whether you're in a denim, whether you're in a t-shirt, whether you're in a tracksuit, whether you're in a suit, whether you're in a blazer, whether you're in a ball gown, whether you're in a dress, whether you're in a corporate outfit, it doesn't matter. Just remember that your kindness and your attitude, your grace is what takes you far, is what matters at the end of the day. And yeah guys, that's it for this week. But before we go guys, let me know one act you consider to be classy. What I would say I consider to be classy, aside all of these things I've mentioned, honestly guys, is just people who know how to carry themselves, people who are considerate. You know, just as I said last week, someone who is considerate, someone who is an empath will be able to understand, and someone who can understand things from different lens and not just their own lens is someone that you want by your own side, because they can be able to understand you regardless of your race, your background, your socio-economic status, and you know, your capabilities, your knowledge, how ignorant you are or how knowledgeable you are. They'll be able to relate with you and try to understand you. And yeah guys, I just thought for us to touch on class, because I feel these days a lot of us just feel like the moment you're able to dress nice, the moment you're able to wear nice jewelries, travel first class and all of that, you know, it just makes you a classy person. But class goes beyond what we wear, how much money we have, and the fancy places we go to. It's all about how we carry ourselves. Are you a kind person? Do you have a good presence? Do you have a good or uplifting energy? It is really important to pay attention to all of this, to pay attention and focus on what really matters, things that inside the character of a person, the personality of a person, and not the outward appearance, you know, the clothes, the titles, the cars, the houses. You know, being a classy person goes way beyond that. And I was like, you know, let's touch about it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I said earlier on that if you're new to this channel, welcome guys. Even if you're not new to this channel, you're welcome any day, anytime. Thank you so much for joining me once more. Please don't forget to like this video if you haven't. Hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I make a post. Share, subscribe. If you're feeling generous, please feel free to share this video with your loved ones on your social media platforms, You can follow me on Instagram, it's Victoria. I'm going to leave the spelling. On Snapchat as well, it's also Victoria, and on TikTok is Victoria1. Then on X is Victoria Nomu, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to leave all my handles. Follow me, get to see a different side to what I do and me as a person, if that makes sense. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in next week. Bye.